Hello my friends, how are you doing today? Good news for those of you who enjoy some Dollar Tree content because I've got some new makeup from Dollar Tree. I've been meaning to talk about this for a little while and a couple bits and pieces have found their way into some of my shorter videos. But I did a haul there not that long ago of some new beauty stuff and it just seems like they are constantly getting in new and different things. And it's fun. Everything's $1.25, okay? And I've run into some brands that are actually really good and fairly reliable. If you see the brand called bPure, a lot of that stuff turns out being pretty good. LA Colors is doing some great things with eyeshadow. I know I talked about in a video not all that long ago that I'd run into these 4 quads. Well, at a different Dollar Tree, I ran into 2 different ones. Very basic, wearable, everyday shades too. And when I'm deciding what I want to try, I don't go into it with, just grab whatever mentality. I'm actually picking the things that I think are going to work out well for me. And it's really fun to see if they do live up to my thoughts. So I'm going to take you through what I got today. I don't have any makeup on yet. I just have my skincare on. At first I thought I'd focus the video on the new things I just picked up, but then I thought, full faces are more fun. So I pulled out some Dollar Tree items that I've had on hand for a little while and thought, let's just work that into the look too. So here's one thing skincare wise that I did pick up because some of you guys are interested in the skincare. I got the Snail Mucin Essence. Okay, and again, all of this $1.25. All of it not really linkable for me. Okay, so I will list everything I've used, but if you want to hunt it down, you got to go to Dollar Tree. Global Beauty Care Snail Mucin Essence, Hydrating, Brightening, Replenishing. I heard lots of good things about this, and they're also selling a moisturizing cream alongside this product. Cruelty-free, you're getting 1.7 fluid ounces here. This is a very popular thing in skincare and skin prep these days. I forgot that I had this on hand, and I already did all my skincare stuff. Ended off with my sunscreen and everything, so I don't know that I should go back on top with this, but I'm gonna be trying it. For my base look, we're gonna have to rewind to some things that I know excuse me, I've talked about in the past. This little guy is from bPure. It's the Essentially Ageless Blur Face Primer. When you see Essentially Ageless, we're thinking about L'Oreal's Age Perfect, I believe it's called, that range. So I'm going to use this little primer today. Squeeze some out. It looks pinky. It's supposed to be blurring. Feels rather rich going across my skin. There's not like a slip to it. It feels more like deeply moisturizing, actually. And maybe it's the size of the product, but I've not gone back and used this foundation a whole bunch. I'm just being honest. It gets overlooked a little bit. We're going to give it another shot today, kind of hopefully rediscover this Essentially Ageless Hydrating Serum Foundation. L'Oreal sells something like this. It's in, a little bit bigger tube. You're only getting half of a fluid ounce with this product. So keep that in mind. You're paying $1.25. And I don't see my shade name anymore on this tube anywhere. It was on the outer packaging at one point. But it seems like they might be getting a little bit better with some of these complexion things about carrying a few more shades. Last time I was there, I thought, okay, they're trying to have a bit more range. I'm gonna grab my Profusion buffing brush. The consistency of this is a little thicker than a full out liquid, but it's blending fairly easily. And I would say it's giving me about a medium coverage. Shade might be a little dark, but that's okay. I'm not sure that the blurring primer is actually doing any significant blurring. I'm just looking at where I blended across my nose and it just didn't feel like that type of primer. Some of those primers tend to be a bit more mousse-like. There's a real silky glide across the skin, but not really with this one. But hydrating. There's that Essentially Ageless all over my skin. Again, I do feel like it evened out my skin tone. I'm getting a solid medium coverage out of it. It definitely has a radiant kind of finish. Can you see the moisture sort of popping off of my cheeks there? It'll be something I want to set today for sure. And then also from bPure. This has all been bPure stuff so far. And that's probably been one of the most consistent ranges that I've experimented with from Dollar Tree. This is the Hydrating Under Eye Concealer and I have this in Fair. It's 0.4 fluid ounces. It seems more competitive with the size you'd normally see in concealers. And it says our hydrating makeup line infused with hyaluronic acid is formulated to give makeup coverage and skincare in one step. So you've seen me use this before in a video, but I'm going to squeeze out just a little dot of it. We'll see how far it goes. It has a nice feel. It doesn't feel too runny, but at the same time, I don't feel like it's coverage packed. You know, the way you go across your skin and you dab on some NYX Bear With Me concealer serum and you're like, okay, that's packing a major punch. I'm not really getting that vibe with it, but we can build and we can get where we want to be. The good news is this shade is a little lighter than the foundation shade, so it's going to give us the brightness that we're after on the under eye area. I'm going to blend a bit with my little Morphe brush here, and it's really wanting to blend in right away. Up on the under eye. If I've got any extra product on the brush, it's going back up there. Okay, I've blended it all in, just kind of went ahead and blended it with my smaller brush. It's a medium coverage concealer, really. If it were fuller coverage, then I would have been able to kind of like spread it first and then go in and need to blend more, you know, with this brush. But it's a medium coverage concealer. I'm going to see if I can build it a little bit in here on my under eye. Again, sometimes with these products, it's like, okay, they're good, they can pass, you know, they can get the job done. But if you do have a lot of other options in your collection, they might not be like the first thing you're going to reach for. Can you tell I've dabbed more on the under eye? I'm just going to go straight in with my Profusion brush. I had the weirdest dream last night, like immediately before I woke up. I was back in cheer with a team of nobody I recognized. We last minute, day of, decided to do a competition. Like we were gonna go and then we weren't and then we were. And we were in this circle with another team. And this team had boys on it and I was talking to one of them. I was like, do you guys compete at this every year? And it was like he couldn't speak. He was unable to communicate. Steve Martin was the MC, like running the whole thing. We never got to the part where we competed, but the place was so full, nobody could walk through. But I did see Mom and Dad and Pup like trying to get through the crowd or something. And then I woke up. I feel like I have so many dreams where there's not a lot of action, but just like partial moments. To answer the question, is it buildable? Maybe slightly, but it's only going to take you so far. But still, my skin is looking pretty decent. That's a 375 base right there. I really can't argue with it. I'm going to take some setting powder. Bringing in the big guns of Maybelline Fit Me. I don't think I have a Dollar Tree setting powder, or like a loose one. I do have an LA Colors pressed powder, but I'm going to take some of this and just dab it in on the under eye area. I think this is going to really assist the coverage. And then we're gonna have a liquid bronzer step, and I got a blush. I've played with a couple of these things and I kind of know where they stand. I've got a few things though that I haven't even opened. We've powdered. We really needed it because the skin felt and continues to feel down here like very juicy. I'm gonna take my under eye bullet brush and kind of work that powder in, blend it around a little bit more. I think the under eyes immediately look smoother and they feel like the texture I want them to be. I don't need super duper dry, but I just don't want to feel like if I touch my face, product is picking up on my hands. All right, so that's that. And then this is my LA Colors powder that came from Dollar Tree like a while ago. The shade is Ivory. It can get the job done on under eye, and it's probably a little bit light, honestly, for like wanting to use a bunch of this all over my skin, but I might dab a little in just to set. I'm so pumped about the eyeshadows though. They're like e.l.f. bite-sized quads, but you're getting them for less, and the quality is the most consistent I've ever seen out of LA Colors. And I used one and talked about one in a somewhat recent video, so I'll link to that below so you can see like the original shades that I found, and then going to a different Dollar Tree I found 2 more. I'm mostly set there. That's good. Now we have bPure getting fancy with it. Okay, this is their liquid bronzer. I got the shade Radiant Tan. They had multiple shade options in this stuff, so we're thinking doe foot applicator, like a Rare Beauty-esque, and I've used this before and it worked well. So I'm going to sweep this on my forehead area and you can see how it blends in and what kind of contour it gives me. I need to readjust this headband. Yep, wearing my new brown one. It came in a set of 3 with like, kind of looks like a gray and a beige. I really just wanted the brown. But look at that. Like the tone is on point. It's easy to blend. It's more on the sheer side compared to like e.l.f.'s camo liquid contour stuff, but not bad at all, really. Here, let's do some down here. It's one of those things where I saw it and I thought, can they pull it off? And it's really like, the tone is so good. I would love to hear, who is the team handling bPure? What are their meetings like? Like, I want to hear how they're talking and strategizing about how they can sort of dupe these products that are popular. Okay, this cheek might need more. Boop. But I see this as something that's really capable of getting in my rotation of regular use products. It's very good. And the fact that they did a doe foot applicator. They didn't screw around with like the little puffy tip business. We don't need that. They're making it all ornate looking with that little top. Like, yeah, okay, cool. Here's where things kind of disappointed me. And I really thought it was going to work because I'm on such like a good streak with this bPure brand, but they have this lip jelly and cheek tint stuff. I believe the brand is Milk that is making these. They look like these transparent little stain sticks. Back in the day, sorry, I have an itch. Back in the day, it was Tarte that was doing these big, remember they were big, lip and cheek stain sticks. The deal with this is it's a very risky product. I think the shade I got, it might have said Peony, and they're very inconsistent about putting that stuff on the actual tubes of product. But you can see it go on my hand here, and it's leaving a pinky stain, and that wants to set in absolutely immediately. It felt like there was moisture in the stick, but now that I touch it, wherever that product touched, it's not moving, okay? Same thing's gonna happen on your cheeks. You can't be swiping over here, swiping over there. It was a beast to get blended the first time. So I'm gonna try to be super fast about it and still show you how it goes today. Hopefully I'm fast enough, all right? So boom, swipe it on and go. Do not delay, do not pass go, do not collect $200. Okay, it shouldn't have to be this finicky, but it feels cooling right immediately as it touches your skin. I like that. They even put a secondary cap on it. They were thoughtful enough to think about that. Okay, so I'm okay with that blend. I get a little more on all at once. Just work it in absolutely immediately. Well, that makes me feel good that that can be done. I just didn't even think about that the first time, and I'm sitting here, boop, 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 and then come back over to this cheek, and it's like, that's not gonna move. And then I felt like I broke down a lot of the makeup that was on my skin in an attempt to get it to move. But it's a fun looking product, and they did have it in multiple shades. That's why I was trying to reference the shade I got, but it's still not the easiest thing in the world, even if you immediately get to it. Let's put it on the lips. The lips is where maybe it's looking so faint. It's there. Okay, I can see my lips being a little pink, slightly pink. Putting the subcap on. Temperamental, but can work. Oh, I did save the packaging. Good. That was the shade Peony. That's what that packaging looks like. And they say it's got hyaluronic acid and buildable color, paraben and phthalate free for people who just think these are little cruddy products. Here's the liquid bronzer. Like I said, radiant tan. That's what that packaging looks like. Paraben and phthalate free, buildable sun-kissed glow. Another thing that I got that could potentially work on cheeks, although this color would be pretty intimidating. I got one of these Mercerie things, and it's a stain, and I use this on a short video, so check there for the demo. But it's very like berry toned and mousse like. Here's the thing, it's gonna go on your lips and there's gonna be a ton of color. And you'll be thinking, well, it said stain, right? So it's gonna set in some form or fashion, like all stains do. Well, it's gonna continue to stay wet feeling and extremely colorful on your lips. The staining is though happening under the surface of the product. So you can wipe away some of the excess color, which there's a lot, and then you'll see that you are stained significantly, and that stain will last pretty well. But I heard some people say like maybe try it on the cheek, so maybe I will do that at some point, although the product is just so very pigmented. But I've got another lip thing from this Mercerie brand. Some of you were interested in that range, and they do have some palettes too, but I just started going hog wild on the LA colors. Got sidetracked, I guess. I'm gonna do my brows and then we'll get into the eyelets. Okay, I did my brows. It's dollar store kinds of products, like it's LA Colors Browie Wowie Skinny Pencil, but I'm about positive that came from Dollar General. Medium brown is the shade, or it might have been Walmart. And I know this came from Walmart, the Browie Wowie Laminating Effect Brow Gel. So lower cost products. And then we can go in with our Milani Eye Primer. And then, like I said, I found two different shades of these LA Colors quads, and I'll just have to link below to everywhere else I've talked about these. There was the original YouTube video where I talked about finding some, and I found 4. I used 1, and then I'm shooting this on Thursday. I just posted a short video yesterday of one of these quads, one of the newer ones, but these were the original 4. Remember, I found the one with the teal. There's this light purpley one. I had used the shade Fashionista. It's got some burgundy in it. And then this one's called Queen's Desire. But then I go on and I find this one called Classics. And this is the one I used on TikTok and Shorts and Reels. But this one was phenomenal. 3 mattes, 1 shimmer. Everything was perfect to work with. The intensity on this brown is exactly what you see is what you get. Everything blended with ease. Like, I was doing a short video, and when I'm doing those, like, I truly am kind of trying to go through my steps a little faster. So like, I'm trying to just sort of whiz through the eye, and this is whizzing right with me and doing a really good job. So that's the one called Classics. And then I also found this one called Rumors. This really looks like what Cream and Sugar should have been from e.l.f. By the way, these are cruelty-free. That's what it says on the packaging. Oh man, they're really coming for e.l.f. with these. Instead of giving us a shimmery bronze, they gave us a matte mid-tone, gang. LA Colors is on top. So we're seeing dark brown, then e.l.f. gives a shimmery bronze, this one gives a matte mid-tone. That next shade is shimmer on both, and then the other one looks maybe a little bit more richly peachy in the LA Colors. It's not like the e.l.f. ones aren't affordable or easy to come by. They're not a problem, but I've said it before and I'll say it again, the configuration of shades is not always flawless in those. But I'm pumped to see what this one called Rumors will do for us and see if we like the look and see if it just comes together with ease. So I am going to go to that shade that I believe is going to be our started out mid-tone, the one beside the dark brown. We've already got Milani eyeshadow primer on. But these have been like some of the most consistent eyeshadow products I've ever seen LA Colors turn out. And I wonder if they're gonna like make them part of their range in Walmart too, because I mean, these are just so solid. I hope they're not a thing that just like landed in Dollar Tree once and then never to be heard from again. Okay, we're getting a really light crease with this shade. If it were my pick, I might have gone a little darker, just slightly, but it is still showing. And I'm letting it come up high. It's almost coming off on the skin kind of rosy beige. And then I'll take this one at the end, which looks kind of strong in the peach department. And I'll just let that come up and blend out. I'm using a really soft hand with it because it's not like a pure white cream, right? Okay, gentle, soft. The dark brown in this, actually it looks like it might be a bit of a satin finish. And you'll notice it's cooler than this other one that I found called Classics. Can you tell? We're dipping in with the Morphe M303 flat brush, and what I expect to see is color, and I'm getting it. It's showing up. That would be the downfall of some other LA Colors stuff I've tried in the past, is that the dark shades can't hang. Like, they look like they should be dark. The palette looks balanced at a glance, but then they just don't deliver, and not everything has been that way, but some things from LA Colors. And here I take my brush, so I'm patting, and then I'm flipping the brush so that surface that picked up product is now pulling it up in through the crease. It's just a quick way to go with it. And then you can take your crease brush and get it all like really blended. But yeah, this is giving all in all a little cooler look compared to Classics. But I would have to say these are the 2 most basic looking ones color-wise. And it's just funny I didn't run into them at first. Okay, I got a little extra product over here on this one, so I'm gonna apply a little extra over here. I'm confident that it's all gonna blend out. Because right now, it just looks like product is haphazardly stamped like a panda bear, right? But I trust that I can go in with this crease brush and go over primarily the edge and get that shade blended. And yeah, it is blending and softening. See? These are no joke. This is my affordable gem of the moment. I feel like this dark brown is slightly less blendable than the dark brown in the last palette. This was pure matte and they were just velvety. This one, it actually is, like I said, a tiny satin finish in here. It's kind of wanting to sit in there and cling just a little bit, but I'm still able to go over it, and we're gonna go right back to this shade. And there we go. I think that'll provide a little bit of softening. The intensity of the peach at the end and that other mid-tone, they're not too far off from one another. It's kind of like take your pick. but well done. Wow. And that's just using 2 brushes. I used a crease brush and I used the flat brush. And you could clean off that flat brush and just keep going, but I do have that medium-sized flat brush that I like to pull in as well from Morphe. And we need to see how this goes, our little shimmer right here. Yep, it's just immediate, lay down, no flake, no drama. That could be a pretty highlighter too. I think I'm gonna try that. Fantastic. Great work, you know? Before I try that shade as a highlight, I am gonna take my deepest brown, small pointed brush, and see how that does for a little smudgy liner. I think it's gonna wear well. I put brown on my lower lash line yesterday, the less dark brown, the one from this quad. And that look wore well all day long. And I was doing a lot of different things. Okay, there's our eyeshadow, friends. And you could take your little small pointed brush, and here's where you could really shape it out if you wanted a more distinct shape. I've just got that color on my brush, so I'm like naturally kind of going for it, but wow, love. Let's try a little highlighter with the Real Techniques setting brush. I don't even have highlighter on today, so this works. She can multitask. Slay. Just be careful. I mean, this is a pigmented eyeshadow, so just get a little bit on your brush, but take the time to blend it in, and we're glowing. I'm going to throw on some mascara and be back for the lip. And my eye is done. I think it looks so good. I'm so impressed. I use my Lash Princess False Lash Effect on top and the e.l.f. Lash Extender Tubing Mascara on the bottom. I did at one point, I think it was from Mercerie, I tried a mascara that totally flopped for me from Dollar Tree, and I'm very hesitant to try another Dollar Tree mascara. But we've got this lip product. This is from Mercerie, and the packaging is like nice feeling. It's a lip gloss, creamy gloss that leaves your lips drenched. Perfect hydration. It looks like one of these. Remember when I did a whole video? I don't know if you remember because not a lot of people watched it, but I did a whole chart talking about these lip butter, lip glossy balms, lip treatment type of products. I'm looking over here. I've got some from Rimmel, Hard Candy, e.l.f., Laneige, Tower 28. Every brand's got their take. And now there's this one from Mercerie, and it looks like it's got a tint. I hope it's got a tint. This is paraben-free, cruelty-free, and gentle on skin, they say. Tube is very simple. Okay, the color is, what is this? It almost looks stainy. It smells like cotton candy? Like, it smells really good. It smells like a cotton candy flavored something. Okay. See how it looks like pink gel? I don't think it's like doing a weird staining thing. Let's just put it on. Wow, that feels good. One of the things I love from bPure is their little overnight lip mask thing, the one that's in like a white tube with a blue cap. That stuff is so good. This feels really good too. Oh, it feels rich. Kind of thick on my lips. Like somehow my lips feel and even look a little bit plump. Not that this claims to be a lip plumper at all, but that feels nice. And I had a little bit, I've got so much on my fingers from my swatching, but I was saying I did have on a little bit of this stain. This didn't give me like vivid, vibrant color on my lips, but then this over top and I'm looking like something, right? I like that. That feels really good. It's kind of like when I mapped out everything and I was talking about thickness, I would put these actually toward the thicker side. It feels more like a glossierbalm.com. What I feel like this look needs a little more of is some blush. Anybody else predict that? I'm gonna use one that actually came from Dollar Tree, not really recently, but it's the LA Colors Berry Plum, kind of packaged like CoverGirl Cheekers. I'm gonna go into that with my e.l.f. blush brush. Yes. Needed. Like with the lip being kind of soft right now, I just feel like I need to amp up the cheek. And I'd probably feel that way no matter what, let's be honest. This is so pretty, this blush. Okay guys, what did everybody like best? My favorites, loving the LA Colors quads. I think this lip is awesome. It's from Mercerie. I've got to try more from Mercerie. Perfect hydration lip gloss. Just don't expect a lot of color from it, but that feel is surprisingly good. And I really like the liquid bronzer too. It was really like everything I hoped it would be, you know? My base products are in here like getting the job done underneath everything. Just know if you're gonna try this concealer, it's gonna be a medium coverage concealer. This all over, if you can hone in on a shade that works, this essentially ageless stuff, it's pretty good. You know, it's a medium coverage product. The blurring face primer is kind of like, meh. They put together some kind of primer, but I don't find it to be blurring. Oh, one other thing I did pick up, restock on the Ioni lash glue. This is the lash glue I always use. I love it. It is a constant in my makeup routine. I should probably be grabbing a couple whenever I go. This stuff does not irritate my lash line, and I did go through a phase where that was a problem for me. This says 100% vegan, fast drying, gentle, latex free, long lasting, no formaldehyde either, safe for sensitive eyes, it says on the back. So love this lash glue. Like, you can't beat that, $1.25. That's always what we come back to saying when we're trying this stuff, $1.25. But yeah, that's my face of the day. Thank you guys so much for taking time to watch. Let me know if you've had any good Dollar Tree finds or anything I should be on the lookout for, and I will see you again very soon. I love you. Bye.